Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the University of the West Indies. As you've heard by Ms. Richards, my name is Noel Morgan. I am in the bursary where we do the finances, we manage your finances and the finances of the University of the West Indies. We are very pleased that you have chosen the best place to be to secure your future. And for the next few minutes, we will be talking about a matter that is extremely important to all of us, the whole matter of financial management in challenging times. May I see the hands of all those who are rich? You're rich. Wow, excellent, excellent. In fact, there are so many persons who are rich without knowing it. I'm sure by the end of the presentation, you'll all understand that in spite of the challenges, you are well equipped to face whatever is ahead. Now, I start off by asking the question, who needs money? Anybody needs money today? Wow, wow, wow. But I submit to you that there's more to life than making and having money. And spending money, especially money that's earned by somebody else, requires wisdom, maturity, and financial skills. And one of our life's objectives is to understand how to manage, particularly in the environment in which you have now come to begin your career. There's a personal financial epidemic, but I submit to you that financial insecurity is the result of the choices we make rather than the income we earn. And the principles that lead to financial security are largely the same ones if you're a student, if you're managing in your home, or if national leaders are managing the economies. If you just think back on what is happening in our current economic climate, all of us are aware of the fact that because of issues in the economy, we have recently signed an agreement with the IMF. But if you look at higher education across the world, you'll recognize that not only is Jamaica experiencing problem, but Great Britain, the United States, Canada, and all over the world, young people especially are under pressure because the economic challenges are so great that there are several countries that earlier in the lifespan of the country's life would have placed a lot more resources in education. But now just to make ends meet and just to repay loans and to be able to make the challenges of daily living, countries have to determine that they're going to cut back on what is available. Look at Barbados. Barbados recently announced that students will now have to take up some of the charges that for all these years were free to them. So as you look at your timeline, and I'm sure each of you have different timelines. There's some of you who have come now, day one, year one, as your first year. Some are in a full-time program, others are in part-time programs. But each of you must initially determine the timeline for your future. What's going to happen in the second year? When are you going to graduate? There are certain deadlines that you must be aware of. And by now, you'd have been told by the individuals from the students' area what are the deadlines for paying your fees. When is it that late charges are due? But apart from the financial deadline, there are other issues which impact on your financial management skills. So today is orientation, and this week. There's registration, there's term assignments, there are the mid-semester exams, other term assignments, and the end-of-semester exams. All of these deadlines are important, and they are worth dollars. So I say quickly, KYC. You need to know your campus. As you've come, spend time in this orientation period to know your campus so that you can settle down as quickly as possible and get to work the moment classes begin. Know your course. You should have selected your courses by now, or you are in the process of doing that. Be very careful and frugal in your selection. Don't waste time. Set up your timetables. Know exactly what you're about. Get to the bookshop. Get your reading list. Organize yourselves because every minute counts in dollar terms. Know the contents of your courses. You might say, what does this have to do with financial management? But at the end of the day, every time you fail an exam, every time you get a mediocre score, it means that with the thousands of others who are competing for the scholarships and for the grants that I'll speak about later on, you are putting yourself at a disadvantage. And so you must know your content. Know your costs. Know your cash. We're going to spend some time this morning looking at this since we are looking at the financial challenges in this presentation. You need to understand your sources of your cash. There are some of you who have parents who can give you endowments and grants. There's no payback. There are some of you who would have gotten awards and scholarships. No payback. There are some of you who will have to go to the Student Loan Bureau or to the credit union. And for those who don't know, the credit union right behind this building over there offers very attractive loans for students, unsecured, to ensure that you can pay your fees. So you can go over there and talk to them. There are the banks and other institutions. You need to also understand that as you've come here, you need to maximize your time. The university has provided very excellent opportunities for students to earn while they study. And I'm referring you to the Office of Student Financing website, which will tell you about all the scholarships, all of those. Please check out this website immediately. Speak to individuals in the bursary and in other areas about different long-term loans, different short-term loans. As you go to the Office of Student Financing, they'll tell you about meal subsidies, about cash grants and book grants. They'll tell you about bursaries. They'll tell you about the student enrichment, the Student Academic Enrichment Fund. All of these awards, grants, and scholarships are being made available through the Office of Student Financing. And there are several stakeholders on the campus. There are staff members like myself who have invested, and each month we make deductions from our salaries to go towards scholarships for all those who are coming, because we have benefited from university education. Some of us have 3 and 4 degrees. Some of us have gone through so many stages, and we have agreed that it is now time to give back, because you are important, and we also are invested in you just as others have invested in us. Let me tell you quickly, you should go to the placement unit very early. There are opportunities for students' employment. And I'm giving you very quickly some of the excellent rates. If you, the university has a number of rates that they apply for different level of services that you render. And so you may be in the office, you may be on the security detail. It doesn't matter where you are. You may be in the library. You may over by the Information Technology Division. There are certain rates depending on the capacity in which you are working. There are some of you who have come to the university with experience coming out of your jobs to further your education. All of these are taken into consideration. So as you go to the office, these rates are available. You can get them to see where you can find the jobs. I want you to get some tips and tools very quickly. Time and focus, health, budget. I'm going to focus on the question of budgeting for the next 5 or 10 minutes, because this is what brings together the whole matter of financial management. Budget preparation involves 2 essential steps. 1, clear thinking and common sense. If you fail to plan, it's accepted that you're planning to fail. And I'm submitting to you that even if you have not started the habit already, budgeting is one of the essential steps to overcome the financial challenges in these times. The Institute of Cost and Management Accountants define budget as a plan which is quantified in monetary terms and approved prior to a defined period. And I will give you some links to some websites as to how you can develop your own plan. But budgeting is simply a plan. And from now, each of you must put together not just your study timetable, not just your plan for where you're living, but your plan as to how you're going to manage the resources that you have. It's so important that you understand the need to budget and to make a plan. It will determine what happens. And I heard Ms. Richards speaking to it now. You have come in, and perhaps you have come in with a few dollars in your pocket and you feel that it's a lot of money. But let me tell you, when you hit week 2, 3, and 4, you realize the harshness of the economic challenges. But if you make a plan from now, that plan offers hope. It offers you a chance to reflect and to get feedback in your own financial affairs. It allows you to direct your path in a positive way, in spite of the limitations that you might have right now. Budgeting is like balancing your checkbook for those of you who have a bank account. You must look at all the funds that you have available, all the funds that are coming in, and you must take stock of everything you're spending money on. There are many of you who have come with a deficit already. You have not secured enough funding to pay all your fees. You have not secured enough funding for all fees and books and lab fees and all those sort of stuff. But it is not time to give up. It is time to be positive and to make plans. Some of you might have to start making plans to use less and to move down rather than get bigger and better things. We must understand the balancing act of budgeting. Your expenses must not exceed your income. And so I'm going to ask each person from now to write down every source of funding available to you now. Write down all the expenses that you're aware of. If you don't know all the expenses, go on the website. Speak to the folks in the bursary. They will tell you exactly on an estimated basis, because costs are rising every day. And so what may be the cost for a book today might change because the dollar is going down every day. There's a depreciation in the dollar. But you must create and have a balanced budget. I have submitted, and I can leave this information with you, what it is that is involved in doing your budget. I'm giving you a sample college or university budget. In essence, you must determine everything that's coming in. So if you are employed as a student, if you are on an installment plan where you get money from your relatives or from some foundation, or if you get some allowance, you must add up all of that. Then you must look at all of the items that you have going out. What about the all fees? What about cell phones, grocery bills? There are so many persons who underestimate the cost of cell phones. It may seem like just a $100 credit today, but there are so many persons who use so many credits that it's amazing what they're talking about. The cost of laundry, the cost of going to the barber or to the hairdresser, your personal care, entertainment. But there are other costs which you must put first, such as your tuition, the other fees, your small fees, books, lab fees, and all of these. You must make a careful note of all your expenses and then match that against your income to determine where you stand right now. Quick tips to reduce expenses as you are on the campus. If you're not living on hall, then you need to plan your route very carefully. Don't just run to Alpha Tree because you have free time. Consider every dollar spent on traveling. Check the prices for grocery items. There are many persons who refuse to go downtown and to the market. You are so acclimatized to the sovereigns and the others. My favorite place on a Thursday morning is Coronation Market. I tend to get there for about 5:30 because I find I get nice fresh things at reasonable prices. Look around, compare prices. Where possible, buy in bulk. And if you're living on hall and you're sharing facilities, or if you are in a cluster, why not group together as a cluster? So if somebody can only buy a tin of corned beef, somebody contribute the rice, somebody contribute the oil, you have a meal. But perhaps it may be that each time you will not have the resources to cook or to do things individually. But if you join together as a group from now, then it makes life easier. Prepare and pre-pack your lunch where possible. Don't just come and go to the caterers. We know they want to make money. But you not only save yourself money when you take lunch from home and you say, well, this is primary school stuff. But I'm telling you, this is reality because we are in challenging times. Unplug electrical items when not in use. You'll be surprised to know. You may say, I'm in all, and so you can leave this equipment running. But the university is spending over $70 million per month to keep this plant going for electricity alone. Don't waste water. Don't leave the taps running. Don't go and have extended showers because you think that everything is all right. Reduce the need to go to the hairdresser and to the barber. Save on cosmetics. I'm rushing down. I realize I'm running out of time. And we're going to talk very quickly about saving. It is important that as you have challenges, that you remember that there's going to be a rainy day. So if it's very hard to survive today, it's going to be harder to survive tomorrow. So you need to learn to save. Don't undermine your future. The cost of saving for tomorrow is spending and enjoying it today. But perhaps what you think is so important to spend money on today might pale into significance when you realize the more important things that you have to face for tomorrow. You can have a better future if you learn to be frugal. You must plan for family emergencies. You may be on campus. It is possible that you'll get ill. It is possible that you get an accident. It is possible that the source of funding, there are so many students who are devastated because the person who provides funding for them, key family members or relatives or other institutions fail. You must plan for these. There are additional costs for your study materials. You must save for the unexpected. I want to close with a few tips on the principles of proper financial management. You need right now to develop a strong sense of financial responsibility. You need to develop a strong savings ethics. Don't buy it if it's not really crucial. Trust me, you're going to need that dollar tomorrow. It might seem just $1 or $100, but save it because you're going to need it. Be disciplined. Weigh all your financial transactions carefully. Don't just try to please the crowd. Set financial goals. If you have to buy a pair of shoes, don't just go and look for a brand name. Look for something that can last. This pair of shoes I'm wearing, it's in my 4th year, and it is still going strong. I'm serious. You need to understand what our priority is. You need to avoid impulsive spending. You need to remember that there's a distinction between wants and needs. You have to understand that carefully. I want to say to you, there are many students who will borrow from each other. That's all right. But never lend what you can't lose. Don't borrow what you can't afford to pay back, or you don't know how you're going to pay it back, because your credit, your image, your integrity, your honesty, all these are important characteristics. And in spite of the financial challenges, we must be ethical in all our transactions. So we must be honest in all our dealings. And you must work hard to maintain good credit ratings. Be patient. Don't just look at the Jones and the Greens and to say, well, they have that, and you want to have it. Take your own time. Know your situation. Look out for good sales. Where possible, start from now to buy used books. Look out for opportunities for cost saving or sharing. If you have to rent accommodation, can you share it and reduce the cost for yourself? If you have to go on the street, can you pool and take one taxi rather than you take it by yourself? I say already, plan your travel routes. Forget the old question of being materialistic. Never be the person to spend money you haven't earned, to buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't like or who don't even like you. Use every available opportunity to improve yourself. Good grades. It matters what your grades are. It determines the level of scholarships and grants and awards that are available to you. If you are mediocre, you'll get what is left. If you are cut above the rest, and let me tell you, don't worry if your ability is the best B you can find. Do the best you can be. There are some persons who are straight A students and don't have to try. Don't watch the crowd. You develop your own skills and opportunities to the best of your abilities. Make sure you go to classes on time. Forget the fact that courses are posted and you can read them. Go to classes. Ask questions. Turn your assignments in on time. Prepare for exam on time. Don't spend time watching all the sports activities and getting so involved in sports that you forget that your business here is to learn, is to earn your degree. And I want to close by asking you a question. Do you want to know how to double your money? Anybody? You can double your money immediately. Anybody? Anybody want to answer? How do you double your money? The quickest way. So you have $100. How do you double your money? Huh? Spend it? No, all you do is fold it and put it back in your pocket, all right? Don't spend if you don't have to spend, right? Remember, there are links to how to proper plan your budgets. There are links, and it's online, and I'll send the links to the Office of Student Services, for, college budget. You can go online, Google it, college budget, student budget calculator. I want to let you know that although for some of you it may look very hard, the future may look difficult, those who shine brightest are those who come through in hard times. Financial planning is your responsibility. Forget the challenges and get to it. Be the best you can be, and I see you at graduation.
This was an excellent presentation, and from where I sit, I know that students need to plan carefully because we have to listen to the cries and sort out the problems from time to time. But there is an important thing which I'm going to ask Mr. Morgan to clarify, and that is the loan which is available at the students at the credit union, because from time to time students say they go to the credit union to access this fund and they're told that they need a collateral. Listen to this carefully.
Okay, what is happening is that the university has, on your behalf, made arrangement with the credit union to offer funds under certain conditions. There are some funds that are available which will not need to be secured, but that has to be taken on an individual basis. There are students who so far have messed up the arrangement that we have put in place, Mr. Richards, and have not been honoring the agreement. It's supposed to be a revolving fund. And so when somebody borrows, leaves the university and don't repay, or the parents don't come through, it messes up the fund and put the institution in challenges. Now, you will need to speak in terms of the particulars with the managers. There are persons at the credit union who at this moment are expecting you to come and to talk to them. It's a very fast-moving credit union. But if you go there and make your appointment, they will tell you. It's difficult from this perspective to tell you what you'll qualify for without making an assessment of your personal situation. But let me say, there are funds available on an unsecured basis. There are funds available on a secured basis. For those persons who are in, say, Mona School of Business Management, there are some facilities at extra special rates that gives you up to $2 million, depending on certain criteria. There are other facilities that give you smaller sums. All I'm saying is the facilities have been put in place. What you need to do is to go individually and speak with the persons there, and they will assess your situation and give you the best solution. Is that okay? Can I take one more question? Is there any other question very quickly? It's either that I'm as clear as mud or something else, right? Or you're all understand. Is that okay? Any question? Thank you very, very much. All the very best.